So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars
Monster Mash. Monster Mash.
Over the ramparts we watched.
Monster Mash.
So gallantly streaming.
Monster Mash. Monster Mash. Monster Mash. Monster Mash. Monster Mash.
That our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please salute if you don't mind. Thank you, TM. Okay. Monster Mash. Monster Mash. Monster Mash.
Suck on this, Biden.
Song gets me so jacked
Welcome
up.
to the revolution.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the scariest show ever. How's everyone doing this day? How's everyone doing on a day like today? Halloween, notoriously the scariest day of the year. I'm scared, you're scared, and we're all going to talk about it. And Papa and Wilson are already getting best intro on YouTube. I can't believe that just got censored on YouTube. I can't believe I just had to approve that comment. I hate censorship so much. It's so dumb. It makes no sense. But also, we should let's check on our president right now. This is live. He's currently handing out candy to children. I don't know what's scarier than this. White extremist music to kick off Halloween. Yes.
Is your airplane out here?
Oh, look at Jill. You. Good for you, girl.
Where's his cousins?
Oh, dear Lord. Chords on Rumble, what's up? I like to listen to the God of Davida. In the God of Davida, baby. Would you send your kids to this? Their audio keeps going in and out of my ears. It's driving me nuts. At least he's finally doing something for the Americans, I know. Why do these parents hate their children so much? I don't know.
Good to see you.
That kid's way too old to be trick-or-treating. That kid's like 19 years old. Let's rate the costumes. Store-bought. I'll give it a 1. Rate the costumes in the chat. Let me know. Oh, wait. There's 2 women wearing fairies? Yikes. Oh, I need to get dressed up as the president this year. I get dressed up as the president this year for Halloween, exactly. Oh my God, Jill and I have the same wig. Oh, it's so bad. Doing what he loves to do, giving handouts for nothing. Does that kid have a oh. Yikes. Joe, step away from the show whisper. Do it now. That one was a little too close for comfort for me. I don't know about you guys. No, but seriously, is that like a fly swatter on her hand? One of those electric ones? Also, who is the pink-haired girl? That's incredible. Oh, get in the picture. What? Is anybody like actually going to parties tonight or anything? Or do you guys watch scary movies on Halloween? Do you have any favorite Halloween scary movies? I almost watched Young Frankenstein last night. I love that movie. Any Young Frankenstein lovers? They better check for razors. Yeah. Razors are fentanyl. Fentanyl candy. That's a new one this year. The pink hair girl is there to remind Joe Biden not to talk about Ukraine. Poor kid. Taking my kid door to door later on. Hey, nice. Good to see that people are still doing that. What's your kid dressed as? I wish I knew some parties. Hey, the party's right here, dude. Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles were great. Yes. I love Young Frankenstein. My mom forced me to watch that as a kid. Constantly. Would you like some Ovaltine? Alright, do we keep watching this or do we go on with the clips I have queued up for today? I'm curious if anything really sketchy is going to happen. History of the World was good one as well. Oh yeah, that was a great one. She's a ladybug. Adorable. 2-year-old ladybug. Classic. That's adorable. I don't think I have any trick-or-treaters in my neighborhood this year. Not a lot of kids. But if you do come to my house, I do have candy. Whoa, now those are nice. That don't look store-bought. That looks created. The producer's remake wasn't bad. No, not too bad. Very true. I like, anybody watch Monsters House, I think it's called? I like that movie, that's fun. I don't really like adult, like Halloween ones. I don't know, I don't really care for. But I'll always be a Spaceballs. Yeah, me too. All right, well, I got this queued up and then I have other stuff to go through before we get started. I saw this article being passed around today. I feel like I need to turn down Joe Biden's music. Hold on. Dear God. All right, I saw this article being passed around today, and I don't know if you guys saw this article as well, by The Atlantic. How about the Rocky Horror Picture Show? That's like my life every day. That's a great film. Did anybody see this article being passed around? Let's declare a pandemic amnesty. This is on The Atlantic. We need to forgive one another for what we did and what we said when we were in the dark about COVID. And then she goes on to go on about this. But do you feel like many people have neglected their health and to care over the past few years? Notably, okay, the standard saying is that those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. But dwelling on the mistakes of history can lead to a repetitive doom loop as well. Let's acknowledge that we made complicated choices in the face of deep uncertainty, and let's try to work together to build back and move forward. This is what they want you to forget. They want you to forget people getting in your face, yelling at the top of their lungs, put a face mask on. Are you trying to murder everyone? They're trying to make you forget when people were protesting, wearing face masks or locking down, calling them white supremacists or calling them all these horrible names. They want you to forget the summer of love that destroyed whole cities. They want you to forget Joe Biden saying this winter is going to be a winter of unvaccinated death. Like, they want you to forget all the horrible things they called you and people that lost jobs. Thank God the workers in New York were able to reestablish their job and won in that victory with the judge. Thank God for that, because I'd been watching that very closely as people that are very important to the city's infrastructure were about to lose their job. And, that Eric Adams was more than happy to let them go in an insane time to not do so. Same with nurses who stood their ground. Same with people who were trying to get operations done. There are so many things. And just the fact of the way people would look at you when you told them you were unvaccinated, as if you didn't take a single vaccine for your whole life. If you just don't want to take this one vaccine, all of a sudden you're a conspiracy theorist, science denier, as they call everyone else, an election denier right now. They want you to forget all those horrible things they said. Why? Because they were wrong. They were wrong about everything. And so now, instead of being held accountable for things that they said, encouraged, people's lives being ruined, they want you to forget. They want you to forget that anything happened. Hey, we're in this together. I know I called you, the worst names on the book, but I want you to forget, and I want you not to remember, and I want you to just pretend it didn't happen. But I don't want you to do that. And I'm not going to do that. So when you go to vote, remember these things. Remember the people that made you become the most villainous villain ever to be recorded in the history of mankind for wanting to have a voice or a dissenting opinion, or because you didn't follow the science. Because you decided to, think for yourself, or read these articles, or read, academic journals, or look into the science and decide, you know what, I'm very healthy. Like myself, I work out 6 days a week. I try to eat as healthy as I possibly freaking can. And I made a choice. Even though I'm 37, I made a choice that I am not going to follow down the same route. And when I got COVID, I had a fever for 2 days and then I was fine. Even my doctor, when I went in and told them I had COVID, they told me just get rest. And these were the same people who were harping on me to take it. Take it. Just take it. Just take it. You'll be better off. And my thought was, I think I'll be fine. And they looked at me like I was insane. Don't forget. Forgiveness is one thing, but forgetting is another. Don't let it repeat. Keep your freedoms. Your health is worth it. Your freedom is worth it. Your bodily autonomy is worth it. Don't let these people control you again. And don't let them whip you up into hysteria. This is the media's way of saying, hey, we messed up. We want you to remember that we're the good guys. We're on your side. Look to us for information. Because they know they messed up so bad, just like they messed up a lot of stuff about Trump as well, that they want you to forget. But don't. And that's my final thoughts on this. CNN said they didn't have the right to interstate travel. Oh, I remember that crap. No right to interstate travel, no right to buy at my grocery store, no right to go to my gym, no right to see family members that are dying in the hospital. I remember all this insane. No right to visit funeral homes. If you're going to a funeral because of a death of somebody, you can't even do that because we can't celebrate that for Lord God's sakes. People on my vaccination status, I would start telling them a long story about how I got COVID. Papa says we were vindicated, but what do we get? This article on a crappy SNL skit. I know. Exactly. Papa says my friends, my brother, and even my own mother judged me for not getting jabbed. I still have family members that cannot believe that I didn't do it. They cannot believe. These are the same family members that watch me. I have an Apple Watch. They see me put in hard workouts every single day. Plus, I walk my dog 4 miles a day because I'm a good dog owner, and I'm very physically active. Plus, I eat as healthy as I possibly can. I try to eat only meat and very few carbs. I'll have carbs around my workouts. Though I've been slacking lately, I need to pick it up a little bit. And I look after my health. If you are morbidly obese, you're an elderly person, that's a whole nother conversation to have. And that's something between you and your doctor. But there was like this constant denial of the science because we're in this together. I was called selfish and a death cultish and a conspiracy theorist. Exactly. Same. I was taken off YouTube. I was given strike after strike on YouTube. I was seen as insane for just saying, you know what? Maybe you should have a conversation with your doctor. Because that's all I expect anyways. You don't come to me for actual medical information. You should go to your doctor. But when people were saying that, people were just like, oh, no. You should just follow whatever we're saying. Meth did a pretty good job of keeping people in the sickness away. Yeah. And look at all those new jobs created. Business is booming, folks. No, not a joke. Yeah, exactly. Think of Eric Adams is probably celebrating all the new jobs he just filled up. He's like, look, we're exploding right now. We're doing great. Amnesty, amnesia, exactly. My own. The government is never on our side. No, the government is all about power. I wish there was more politicians, and the politicians that are for the people, they're seen as insane conspiracy theorists, the ones to look out for, MAGA extremists, whatever. Like they always like put them in the light as the insane ones, rather than like maybe we should listen to them, or maybe we are. It's the same thing they do to me. I get these comments that are just like attack me and my personality, the way I look, or whatever, instead of actually engaging in whatever I said or debating what I said. But I'm the one who needs to forgive me. Yeah. Well, the funny thing is when they write these articles, they're including you in this rather than the ones that were fringe to the max, who were walking around screaming at people that weren't masked while they were walking by themselves out in the open. Those are the people that need to walk around and ask for forgiveness from a bunch of people, but that'll never happen because those are the type of people who just will argue for the sake of arguing and not for the sake of actually getting to know you or gaining more information. They just want to show you how right they are. They even said we couldn't go to church, 100%. And remember that lawsuit in California with, I forgot the church guy. He's a big prominent church head, but yeah, which is like, I don't know, part of the Constitution or whatever. I named my dog 5 miles. That way I can tell everyone I could walk 5 miles every day. And I will walk 500 miles. This was all done in the guy's emergency powers. 100%, man. They always use that, don't they? Anytime, they always want hysteria, because hysteria creates people, especially that don't have solid foundations, to look to authority figures for their answers. And so in that moment, they bring you in due to your overall anxiety and fears, and they say, I will give you a safe place. Look to me for the answers. Look to me for the truth. I will give you peace if you just follow the science. Oh, gotta love emergency orders. We should forgive the government for developing issues of children thanks to point. Dude, issues of children. I still see kids walking around with masks by themselves. These kids are going to grow up with high anxiety, social anxiety, and social fears, irrational fears. They're going to struggle to build community. They're going to struggle to find friends. They're going to struggle when people make fun of them. They're not going to understand how to slow down and think through these processes. They're just going to be over the top. And we allowed those kids to just be. And now they're going to become adults. We should forgive the media for all the domestic violence and substance abuse cases thanks to the pointless lockdown. God. The amount of people that used to be addicted that became addicted again or were addicted for the first time ever is staggering. It's staggering. I told everyone I knew not to listen, not to be afraid. You know, it's not even that you shouldn't listen. It's that you should listen, but think while you listen and think through why they're saying what they're saying, what's giving them the right, why are they saying it that way? Or I think people needed, it was the most insane thing about the whole thing was that you would have politicians telling you one thing, and then right after that, like Gavin Newsom going to a dinner and locking down the restaurant for just him and his friends as they sat unmasked eating in front of you. And those are the same people that were like, hey, you can't skate at the skate park. We're putting sand over it because of the science. But I need to go to the French Laundry to enjoy this wonderful meal with my friends. You're like, wait a minute. And they're like, do not say wait a minute. Just do what I say. Which is crazy because my generation is the generation that teachers constantly told us, question authority. Don't just take what your parents say for don't just listen to your parents, but question everything. And so you had people like us that were just like, would be listening to them talk and questioning, and they're like, why are you questioning it? Like, you created this. You created me to question authority. Mansell West says they keep pushing for nuclear threat. That way they can declare state of emergency, yes, and give the president unlimited power to skirt Congress and suspend our election. Yeah, I don't really know what to think about the whole nuclear threat thing. It seems to be diminishing a little bit for some reason. I don't really understand how that's, because it seemed like 2 weeks ago we were like at Death Con, not to say what Kanye said, but we were like that. We were at there, and it seems like it's gotten less serious. So I don't really know what's happening with the whole nuclear thing, but you bet your butt they'll use anything. Jerry Lee Lewis never set fire in the piano, just went along with a story to make him look like a good old boy. He destroyed a few, though. Poor kids are struggling online learning with their poor parents. Dude, the poor always lose out in the end when the government takes power. Just the reality. And so when the government says that you are locked down, it's the poor kids, their math scores, their science scores go in the gutter, while rich kids who have access to so many things, also probably parents that are like paying for tutors, paying for people to come in and press into their lives to help them with their homework because they're probably too busy working or whatever. It's the poor that lose out in the end, and people don't care about them. They're just like, whatever. And they just gaslight those kids like they don't have a voice. Australia had literal concentration. Oh my gosh. Dude, Australia's, what were they like, vacation homes? Remember, like, there were girls in bikinis, like, talking about how great of a time it is in these camps. Like, it's actually a pretty cool time, man. Like, they give you, like, a 3-course meal, and it's not like a TV dinner. It's actually pretty cool. And I have, like, I have Wi-Fi, and I can make as many TikToks as I want in my room. That's interesting. Wilson says, that's interesting thought. I always figured the libs were the establishment. Lately, it seems like it's in the establishment we trust. It's power, man. Just look at people that have been in power for a very long time And that should tell you everything, you know? Nancy Pelosi's, the Lindsey Graham's, Mitch McConnell's, Schumer's. The list goes on forever. It's flopped in the past decades. Yeah. Well, you know, the left has played the long game with this whole thing. They've been in education, and while I was in education, it was impossible to find people on the right, because people on the right would look at teachers like, I'm not gonna be a stupid teacher. I'm just like, if you have that idea and that opinion, for obvious reasons, I mean, they don't get paid as much as you can get paid in the private sector. But you're going to create generation upon generation of kids who are taught only by the left. And that is just the reality when people on the right are like, I'm not going to be in education. I struggled with education for that reason, because I just felt like I was like the only person who would see something from a different side, and they would always like double look at me because they assumed I was I was a liberal because I worked in education. But whenever I would like ask a question, because I never just state facts, or I just never state like my opinion, I always ask questions to help draw out hopefully different thoughts that they don't normally have from their talking points. And so that's I would always do that, and they'd always like give me a double look like, wait a minute, why would you ask me that? Anyways, let's never forget this. The wage for teachers is pretty good considering they only work 180 and get paid the whole year. Exactly. Well, it depends where you are, for one, but for two, especially if you're a teacher in like Chicago and you only work 180 days a year, money. Freaking money, dude. Yeah. But considering 180 days, for sure. It's just hard because then you have to get a second job and a third job, but whatever. And plus, I would always work longer hours to do homework and stuff. Like, it was all over the place. But I totally get what you're saying, and I totally agree with you. Considering 180 days. And I always worked summer jobs, and most of them didn't do that because they wanted to take the summer off, like children. The fear hype they've been using lately is more than it has ever been set up for round two. It certainly seems like it, man. Speaking of fear hype, I don't know if anybody's been tracking this whole Nancy Pelosi. Also, let's check on our president right now. Because I feel like now he's starting to get comfortable. Now he might be doing something. I was dating a chick that was a teacher in Indy, and she was making about 70 a year. Fantastic. Yeah. No, some teachers in the South get paid 40, 35, 40. But if you're in like some of those northern states, you get freaking stupid money. For 180 days. Oh, he is getting handsy. For God's sake, keep Joe away from the kids. I know. I feel like I gotta put a PG-13 rating on this. Okay. Paul Pelosi dialogue, we're just being fed, doesn't add up. I know. So there's this, Papa sent me this video, and it had been on my list actually about this whole thing about Paul Pelosi in this whole situation not seeming to add up. And let's watch this video together, because when I first saw this information coming out, and I did a little podcast on it, was everyone take a deep breath and slow down, and let's watch this unfold as opposed to jumping conclusions. Because I saw it on the right and the left of just like assuming, oh, this guy's QAnon, oh, this guy's this guy's that. So I assumed this guy was probably just a mentally ill patient who is probably a product of our homeless population who shouldn't be just living on the streets, because he probably is dealing with some real stuff, probably also hooked on drugs, and probably should be institutionalized. But we got rid of all those places because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. But now we have a bunch of mentally ill people walking around the streets, and we're calling them just homeless, as if we just give them the home, they'll be fine. That's the biggest lie that was ever told about some of these people, especially people that have worked with these people before. It's more than just, I need a home. A lot of it is addiction. A lot of it can be depression and stuff like that, needing a home, but a lot of it is also schizophrenia, bipolar, like all these like very serious things that should be treated are just allowed to roam the streets. And instead of them being treated and actually helped, they treat themselves by buying drugs. And so it just makes their situation worse. And then we just get in this circular thing of like, we just need to get these people houses. And it's more than that. But I want to see what this has to do with the whole Paul Pelosi thing, because I think it might be interesting.
Nancy Pelosi's husband Paul was attacked by a lunatic with a hammer on Friday night in his San Francisco home. The suspect was later named as 42-year-old David DePape. Now, obviously, political violence is deplorable, and we wish Paul Pelosi a speedy recovery. Unlike the numerous Democrats who celebrated the vicious attack on Rand Paul, including Nancy Pelosi's own daughter, that's not what we're about. But whenever an incident with potential political ramifications happens at the end of October in an election year, not at least taking a cursory look at what happened would be beyond naive, because there's already a whole bunch of odd inconsistencies. Top Democrats wasted no time in exploiting the attack for political grist. This attack, said San Francisco State Senator Scott Wiener, is terrifying and the direct result of toxic right-wing rhetoric. This
Oh God, like I couldn't believe how many people just assumed this guy. Even I saw some of like prominent YouTubers and Twitch streamers on the left immediately just decided, oh, this is a Trump supporter. This guy had QAnon on his posts on Facebook or something that no one has ever confirmed because, you know, police lock down that kind of crap. And then it's just, you know, hearsay. It's like second word of mouth, second opinion. It's like, oh, did you hear? Actually, he had QAnon stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, let's write about that. Can you confirm it? I can't confirm it. It's an anonymous source. Anyways.
Heinous assault is yet another example of the dangerous consequences of the divisive and hateful rhetoric that is putting lives at risk, said California Governor Gavin Newsom. Barack Obama also weighed in.
If our rhetoric about each other gets that mean, when we don't just disagree with people, but we start demonizing them, making wild, crazy allegations about them, that
Wilson says the Paul Pelosi dialogue we're being fed doesn't add up. No, not at all.
creates a danger.
It's the weirdest experience. Like, you would think there would be more security, or there are just so many questions. But
Dangerous climate. We'll let the investigators do their job.
Yeah, I agree. Let's investigate a little further. Why did Pelosi tell police that the attacker was his
Canadian with an expired visa that works in hemp jewelry shop told a ultra mega? Exactly. Like, who knows? We're just all assuming things. I think people just focus on the fact that he was attacked. How about we just do that? No thanks. So it's definitely weird, and who knows? Supposedly the cameras were off. See, even stuff like that.
quote friend called David, but that he also didn't know him. Here's the 911 dispatch tape.
14 hour copy. RP stated that there's a male in the home and that he's going to wait for his wife. RP stated that he doesn't know who the male is, but he advised that his name is David and that he is a friend. RP sounded somewhat confused.
And I don't really know what to think of that either. It's like the guy could broke in the home, and then Paul Pelosi could call up, and the guy's like, "Who are you freaking talking to?" And then maybe Paul Pelosi's like, I'm just talking to a friend. Like, you never know what that's all about. It is weird, but I don't want to jump on conclusions like, "Oh, this guy, he knew him. They were gonna go in and have gay sex." Like, I saw that all over the internet too. So I don't really know. I don't assume anything. It could be just a 911 call. He could have broken in, and he could have been on the phone with 911, feared for his life, and then said something that made no sense, but hopefully got the police to come over as soon as possible. I have no idea. Heard friend was a code for help. Okay, see, exactly. Well, it's maybe you're. I don't know if you're joking, but like it's. He could be his friend, but he could also just say it because he's feared for his life. Who was the unknown third person who answered?
A friend?
Why was DePape dressed only in his underwear when police arrived?
There is reporting, Martha, that the suspect was arrested in his underwear.
I mean, if you're planning a political assassination, are you really going to show up in your underwear to carry it out? Why did the culprit only start attacking Pelosi after the police arrived?
When the officers arrived on scene, they encountered an adult male and Mr. Pelosi's husband, Paul. Our officers observed Mr. Pelosi and the suspect both holding a hammer. The suspect pulled the hammer away from Mr. Pelosi and violently assaulted him with it.
Why did the culprit...
Maybe the culprit was like, I can't believe you called the cops on me. Maybe he didn't know that he called the cops and he did it out of frustration. I have no idea. Exactly, that's why you would call him a friend. Seems less harmful to the guy standing over. Well, there you go. The secret squirrel would be there if Nancy was home. Yeah, Nancy would be home because she'd be like laying at the front door because she didn't make it up the stairs.
allow Pelosi to go to the bathroom from where he called the police? What kind of home invasions involve bathroom breaks? Politico reported that officers knocked on the door and were let in by an unknown third person. Who was this person? And were they trying to stop the attack or not? Let's pause for a minute for a word from the sponsor of this video.
Let's not. Okay.
Some you're called Lord or Lady, and you just might find they can accommodate you. Put it on your dating profile and watch your matches explode. Genuine environment. You can also get couple packs that use the code PJW directly. Now back to the video. The culprit just happened to be the perfect E-fit for Mr. Crazy Right-Wing Conspiracy Theorist 101.
Authorities have found a manifesto, as they put it, on social media involving conspiracy theories, including anti-government COVID beliefs.
So the media...
God. You mean a mentally ill person decided to make a manifesto? Like, of course. That adds up. That checks out. You don't have to put weight in this person. This isn't a completely sane person like myself. Like, I would never break into someone's home, and B, never make a manifesto before I did it because I'm not completely mentally ill.
Media could bolster their somewhat flagging narrative that these people are everywhere, lurking around every corner. But scratch a little below the surface, and everything isn't as it seems. The San Francisco Chronicle reported that the suspect spent, quote, hours and days in front of a computer filling web pages that had no apparent audience. As Chris Menahan notes, his WordPress blog is mostly just full of one-word posts with zero content, the type of thing someone with severe schizophrenia would post. They're
Those are like my posts.
political in the way someone who thinks they're being gang-stalked by the CIA is political, while the press...
Surprised the cops didn't shoot the hammer. That's another thing. They just like watched it happen. According to everyone on the left, the cops just wait to shoot someone. Oh wait, never mind. It's the wrong color. Okay. Yeah, that's why he didn't shoot it, because he's white. Everyone knows that, man. You would think they would like taser him or something. Like, I just don't... I don't know.
Fixated on his right-wing ramblings, DePape's politics were all over the map. He was a former Green Party member and a nudist
Is the suspect still in the hospital? I'm not totally sure. I think so.
activist, later living with another high-profile nudist and making hemp jewelry. The FBI visited the Berkeley home tied to the
By the way, there is an update to the story that I have right after this.
suspect, dubbed a hippie collective by his neighbours. It has a massive LGBT-coloured flag outside, numerous signs supporting left-wing causes, including a handwritten Black Lives Matter sign in one of the windows. Doesn't seem like your typical MAGA-mad residence, does it? Neighbours described DePape as a homeless addict with a politics that was until recently left-wing, but of secondary importance to his psychotic and paranoid behaviour. What I know about the family is that they're very radical activists, said one of DePape's neighbours, a woman who only gave her first name Trish. They seem very left. They're all about Black Lives Matter.
And then this is where the right reads this and they're like, oh my God, this guy's a total leftist, as opposed to this guy probably is bipolar or schizophrenic. No, nah.
The movement, gay pride, but they're very detached from reality. They've called the cops on several of the neighbours, including us, claiming that we are plotting against them. It's really weird to see that they are willing to be so aggressive towards somebody else who is also a lefty. Numerous observers...
The suspect went to jail. The victim went to the hospital, I thought. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, because Paul Pelosi was in brain surgery or whatever, right?
have questioned the circumstances surrounding the attack. A guy in his underwear with a hammer managed to break into the home of the person third in line to the presidency, and police happened to arrive right as he assaulted Paul Pelosi after being called on a 2 a.m. wellness check. My firm served a lawsuit against Paul Pelosi one time in San Francisco after attempting to serve at other residences, Napa, Georgetown. They weren't home, but staff were. and multiple law enforcement officers were on the perimeter. Break-in is odd, given this level of security. Nancy Pelosi's privacy army is exempt from FOIA. No way to confirm where any one of her armed detail was. Total lack of transparency. No way to confirm anything. Sorry, I ain't playing along, post-security videos or GFY. Elon Musk responded to Hillary Clinton blaming the Republican Party for the attack by linking to an article which sensationally claimed DePape was a gay prostitute who had a dispute with Pelosi. Dinesh D'Souza made similar claims. Was this intended to be something far bigger? Well, if you believe the perpetrator himself, he said he was waiting for Nancy. Imagine if the Speaker of the House had been the victim, and imagine if the consequences had been far worse. Imagine what kind of political fallout that would have generated, and how it would have energized a wave of Democrats to get out and vote next week.
And that is the weirdest thing. It's like so close to the election. It makes you wonder.
Do you think about all this, and especially the timing of it? Just days away from the midterms. I'll be reading your responses in the comments below.
Yeah, it is weird. It's something's fishy. Something's weird. It doesn't add up. Okay. And I think Wilson already said this, but like I just saw this article come out as well that the suspect who attacked Nancy Pelosi is a legal immigrant. Per ICE source, the suspect accused of beating Paul Pelosi used a Homer after a check, blah, 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 is in the U.S. illegally as a long-time visa overstay. I think that's a case for ICE or, border security, but it's not really as relevant, I guess, besides the narrative that illegal immigrants are somehow more vicious. I don't really know. What do you guys thought? Glenn Beck lied to me, go figure. Freaking, how dare you say that? Paul had to take one for the Pelosi team. It's just so, I don't know. Something fishy, something weird's happening. Let's check on our president. Speaking of fishy and weird happening. It's one of the weirdest stories. Whoa. They're playing Harry Potter music. That is not YouTube friendly. I feel like I'm gonna get docked on this music. How do they get to use it? Because they're the White House. That's a lot of kids. See if he can resist himself. He touched their face. Like Jill's like, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, Joe. This guy could have been with Paul when he crashed and got his. Oh, there's that. Joe's favorite time of the year. Get his lineup for sweets. I know. Look at that background. I'm glad our White House uses money to do that. Thank God. Okay. What else? What else do I have lined up? Oh, Joe Rogan was talking about the red wave that's apparently going to happen. Obviously going to probably happen. Can't wait for that night. It's going to be a good night. Let's check on Joe Rogan for an obvious take, but we got to talk about it because Joe Rogan said it.
The red wave that's coming is going to be like the elevator doors opening up in The Shining. That's what I think. I think people are just like, what the fuck are you saying? They're making Republicans.
I don't know how they're doing it. I had a family member who's a boomer and a diehard liberal, and they told me when I was home this summer that they would vote for Desantis. And I'm like, how did you lose this person? Yeah. How did you lose this person? This is a like, go to the ballot and vote blue no matter what. And you've lost even...
Do you guys know any Democrats or people on the left that have decided to leave the Democratic Party and vote for a Republican for the first time? Let me know.
The boomers.
The red wave that's coming is going to be like the elevator doors opening up in The Shining.
You crazy as hell.
It's so silly. I don't know any Democrat who decided to flip their vote like this person right here. It's a Pennsylvania woman that came out and said this today.
I've been a lifelong Democrat, but I'm here to tell you today that I'm flipping to Republican. I can no longer follow this party.
Wow.
Absolutely not. I
don't know anybody like that. I just know a bunch of people that are just like vote blue till you're due. Liberal used to be a good thing. Individual rights and freedoms. The left has perverted those words. Liberal. Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah. Anybody who's like old school liberal isn't seen as liberal anymore anyways. They're seen as a right-wing, ultra MAGA, whatever, conspiracy. Speaking of, maybe I'll just like Kathy Hochul talk for me in that stance as we check back on. I personally don't know any Democrats. Oh, man. I know a bunch. Maybe I work with a lot. Uh-oh. Get out of here, kids! I mean, Biden must be in heaven right now. That's so many kids in a row. Freaking election deniers. Okay, here. What do I want to play? Oh, all right. Now that we're on the Joe Biden's a total creeper. Joe Biden today voted in the midterm election with his granddaughter in Delaware, and it's so creepy. My dad is voting for the first time since the 80s, thanks to the left. Awesome. Is he voting for the right? Here's this Joe Biden clip is so creepy. See? It's not loading now. Oh my gosh, you know, I'm gonna reload this. That's awesome. Have you been talking to your dad about it? Like who they're voting for and why they're voting for them, and did he say his reasons why he's voting for the first time since the 80s? I'm curious. I'm really curious about that. Look at this video of Joe Biden. This is so cringe.
Wait. Which side you want on?
This side.
All right.
Yeah.
Wait. Which side you want on?
This side.
All right.
Yeah.
It's just no. I don't know. Everything about that touch is making me uncomfortable. Everything about it. Let's check back on their president. Happy Halloween, Joe, you creep. I know. I just can't imagine taking my son or daughter to go see Joe Biden. I just want to make sure. Okay. Hey, YouTube's not. Wait, why is it keeps going to top chat? All right. Speaking of cringe, Jimmy Kimmel, he's tired of the BS, man. Oh, awesome. It's painful, obvious, because this is the wrong direction for our country, so he's finally feeling motivated to start voting again. That's awesome. Good for your dad. I like people that like think like that. I don't like when people are just like see how crappy the world is right now, and instead of doing something about it, they just like complain, or they don't do anything about it. They just let it slide, or they just continue to vote for the same people that make you feel like crap. It's like if we just vote the right liberal in, everything will be so much better. It's like people that move from California to Texas or California to Florida and I'll like keep voting for the same reasons on which they left. It's like, wake up. Wake up. Like, no thanks. I'd rather just stay in my tribe and be a part of a cult that even if we all die, we're dying for a good cause. Speaking of all dying for a good cause, here's Jimmy Kimmel. Remember the comedian? Jimmy Kimmel tweets out, and this is just yesterday, it has been interesting over the years to watch you blossom from the electric car guy into a fully formed piece of shit Elon Musk. Jimmy Kimmel might be one of the most cringe late night hosts I can think of. He's more cringe than James Corden, and that's saying a lot. He's just obnoxious. I think it's just, the minute Elon Musk tweeted that whole thing about Paul Pelosi, they just jumped all over it. That's what they do, though. They wait for you to slip up. And when the left slips up, or the left changes their opinion, or says something dumb, or goes into their own conspiracy theory, they like to forget it and act like it never happened. It didn't happen. It's in your head. Remember, let's forgive each other over COVID-19 and all the bad stuff we did to each other. Let's all forget about all the mean stuff. Let's forget about that whole summer of love where we locked down whole cities and burned whole cities and people died. It's not a big deal. Just forget about it. R.I.P. Jimmy, the Man Show was cool. Oh my God, I remember the Man Show. Yeah. Zig-a-zag. Well, Austin is a pretty left-leaning place, and look at all the companies that moved there from California. Rogan and Musk kind of turning the Texas purple. Maybe. I think we'll see in the election cycle. I don't want to just assume that. I would hope that there are Republicans that live in California that see what's going on and leave and continue and don't vote for the blue. I mean, you hear Joe Rogan talk about that a lot. Joe Rogan's like, if you moved here from Texas, do not vote for Democrat. You remember why you moved here. He says that on his podcast all the time. So maybe, but there are a lot of stupid people out there. So fear motivates the left, is scaring people into voting. True. Well, especially because fear, once they started like really messing with kids, locking down schools, staying in control, and not allowing parents to attend parent-teacher meetings or, voicing their own opinion and putting them on the FBI watch list and all that kind of crap. Once they started doing that kind of authoritarian kind of crap, people started waking up and going, hey, this is not okay. You sound like my fourth ex-wife. I'm your fifth, man. We have a fight. God, the thought of me being your fourth wife made me almost ruin my mic. Joe Rogan is a socialist unless he's getting smarter. He loved Bernie Sanders. Yeah, that is true. Joe Rogan talks about Bernie Sanders. He always says Bernie Sanders never changes his opinion on anything. He's always been consistent, which is the biggest lie about Bernie Sanders. That people on the left constantly, it's like one of those like conspiracy theories that people just repeat without actually looking into. That dude has flip-flopped on so many issues, and is just the fact that he allowed the Democrat Party to do what they did to him during Hillary Clinton's reign is insane. What's the easiest thing to waste? What's the easiest thing to waste and impossible to replace? Your time. Is that it? Nothing spells domestic extremism quite like being active in your children's education. Exactly. Bernie is a massive hypocrite, 100%. Which way? Trust. Wait. Whichever was the way the wind is blowing is the way Bernie is going to lean. Not for everything, but for a lot of things, yes. He's definitely one of the old school, like, we need to have socialized healthcare, as if that's going to. You got it, your wife. Yes! Frick yeah, man. But speaking of insane and crazy and conspiracy theorists, I mean, do not let the left continue down this rhetoric of just this insanity that it's only the right that are the election deniers. When I think election deniers, I think Trump supporters.
How concerned are you about the risk of political violence? And can you say unequivocally that you and your fellow Democrats will accept the outcome of your elections?
Of course we'll accept the outcome of the elections. Always have, always will. And we're very concerned about the integrity of our elections. especially when people are trying to intimidate people with weapons, when they're engaged in these tactics to try to undermine confidence. No, we're going to accept the results of the election. That's the American way.
How concerned?
Democrats have always accepted election results. I mean, I can think of so many examples of that not being true. But it's okay. We'll keep up with this rhetoric and narrative. Hey, man, it's the right. The right is attacking democracy. The right is taking away our rights. The right is trying to control our bodies. The right is trying to stop us from voting. The right is in charge of inflation. The right is the ones making our lives much worse. It's not the left. Blah, 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 blah. God, I just get so tired of this stupidity. Tiny Joe should wear cowboy boots. Hell, he is so tiny he could wear 2 pairs of cowboy boots. Hey, short jokes. The bar for election denial is so low that if you ask a mere question, you're considered a threat to the security of the nation. Of course you are. Because you're asking a question of those in charge. You're not just accepting them as telling the truth and following the narrative, Papa. You are leading too much into this at this time. You're thinking for yourselves, and that is not welcome here. Because it's the people on the right that are the right-wing conspiracists. The people on the right are the problem, as everyone knows. Just ask Kathy Hochul.
Trevor, now, these are master manipulators. They have this conspiracy going all across America to try and convince people that in democratic states they're not as safe. Well, guess what? They're also not only...
Now there's a conspiracy. Chicago is actually one of the safest places I've ever been to. I've walked around Chicago. I walked around South Side Chicago, Southwest Side Chicago. In fact, I flew in the Midway and I just walked to my hotel at Sears Tower. It's a easy walk, easy breezy. Didn't feel for my life once in a while. I know we look up stats that tell you how many people are shot in Chicago every weekend. It's not a big deal. Don't think about it. Kathy Hochul, keep telling us the truth.
Election deniers, they're data deniers. The data shows that shootings and murders are down in our state by 15%, even in New York City, down 20% on Long Island, where Lee Zeldin comes from.
The best part about this is that you can just say these things. Don't have to pack up any information. Don't have to say where these studies are from. You just get to say these things as a politician. Let's try, Actually, Chicago is one of the safest cities in America. Chicago, New York, LA. In fact, there's not a homeless population. The real homeless population is in Florida. Everyone knows that. My guess is whiskey, oxy, and crippling loneliness. Yeah. Bernie was a trial run to see how many of the youth are okay with socialism. That's good. That's a good point. They won the battle when it comes to capitalism and socialism, communism. Yeah. It's amazing how many people think that we're in a true capitalist nation. Bernie did a good job at keeping the radical left in the Democratic Party for years, and that's true. Detroit is safer than Chicago. Yes. Well, Detroit is a good destination if you want to buy a house. You might not like living in that house, but you're going to love buying that house. And that's what's more important. Speaking of more important, oh, I clicked out of it. All right. I'm never lonely. I enjoy myself. Hey, what a healthy thing to say. It feels like the tide has turned. Everyone except the failing media, corporate media, has turned on the Democrats, and I live in Seattle. Hey, that's awesome. The media is looking like the bad guy, and nobody likes a bad guy. Well, that's why they're in cleanup mode right now. And if you start to watch more of what goes on in the media, they, especially on the left, they're in cleanup mode. That's why you see people like CNN and stuff like that. They're trying to pretend like they're fair and balanced, or they're like trying to give different points of view. That's why you have Cuomo trying to act more moderate when he clearly wasn't. He was just like, this is his new act. You're seeing it more and more. And you're seeing people like push on Joe Biden too. Even SNL is making fun of Joe Biden finally because they decided that Joe Biden isn't the future. And so they're trying to establish credibility when all credibility is already lost. And so, but that's why they hate, podcasts like mine. Cheap house in Philly. Yeah, you can get some cheap houses in Philly. Chicago has gang shootouts and overhyped pizza, and that's the hill I will die upon. How dare you? I love Illuminati's deep dish pizza. Let's look up how many murders were in Chicago just this past weekend as they try to pretend like it's totally okay. Oh, here's one. Well, this is October 10th. I mean, that's not that long ago. But October 10th, 26 people shot in Chicago over the weekend, and 9 of them in over 4 hours. Totally safe, totally okay. It's a right-wing conspiracy. Let's look up a closer one this past day. Here we go. We have just 17-year-old boy and 5 killed in weekend Chicago shootings. 12-year-old boy among 30 wounded. Just an average weekend. It's not a big deal. It's just a right-wing conspiracy. I am so sick of the right and their lies. We need an anti-SNL that plays on SNL. Oh my God, I wish. I guess I am going to guess 35. That was a close guess. 32 reported shootings over Chicago this past weekend. 32 people. 32 reported shooting incidents and 35 shooting victims. You do the math. Which at least 4 people, juveniles, were killed. I mean, yeah, it's just the youth. Who cares? Why is white right-wing conspiracy theorists so concentrated on black youth? Like, they actually care. Like, I constantly hear these stupid arguments. 8th graders in Chicago should post a viral video of them posing with illegal modified clocks. I've seen that. That is insane. It makes me so sad. But tell me how 30 bullet round expanded high capacity magazine clips are the problem. Exactly. Well, and all the guns that they have are completely illegal, of course, But all we need is a good background check, and those gunshot victims will go away overnight. There's already background checks. Son of a gun! I'm just so sick of it. I'm just so sick of the idiocy. But as I think Wilson was saying that, or Junior was saying that more people are waking up. Here you have the Washington Journal, and a C-SPAN caller calls in and gives them a little dose of reality, and they seem a little speechless on it.
From Chris in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, on that line for Pennsylvanians. Chris, good morning. You're on with our guest. Go ahead.
Good morning. I will be short and sweet. How come things were better under President Trump? Taxes were lower, food was lower, gas was lower, and now we got a new president, and all that stuff is sky high. You go to the grocery store, you can't get out of there for less than $100. You got to have at least $50 or $60 for gas in your car, and it's trickling down and destroying the whole country. Why can't anybody see that?
From Chris and Kim.
And that's why the Democrats have a problem. You can expertly talk your way out of things by using language that not a lot of people use or metrics nobody is looking at, and you can just take a little bit of piece of your statistic pie and then create an entire narrative because you're an expert and you could just make these things up. But you cannot get over how people feel and what they're experiencing in their wallets, because people are noticing and they don't know what to do and they're freaking out about it, as you see more people on the left try to do damage control when it comes to inflation and when it comes to prices at the pump. They don't know what to say and they're freaking out. But you love to see this happen more and more and more. as people are waking up, and people are starting to become less afraid of voicing these opinions, and that's almost more important than actually people experiencing people voicing these opinions more at work, in front of their friends, in front of family and stuff like that. That is when the tide begins to shift more, is when people are comfortable saying the obvious as opposed to cowering due to fear, and fear of rejection and fear of losing your capacity to live, ergo your job, your community around you, whatever. When people feel comfortable to express how they truly feel, that's when change happens. God bless you. I identify as an expert. Ask me anything. What's the square root of 36? Just kidding. Can you imagine how much the old established media hate the internet? Oh my God, they hate it so much. The internet is the media kryptonite. I don't know if you're paying attention to what's going on with Elon Musk taking over Twitter right now, as things are being leaked. Like the highest tier of being pay-to-play service for Twitter, as you pay like $20 a month and you get a blue check mark. How many people are so mad about that? They're just like, how dare these people, like these little people like Derek O'Shea, pay $20 a month and be on the same credibility level with the blue check mark as me. They're so mad about it. I'm not the kind of an expert. Ask me anything else. I don't know what to ask you. What's y plus 1 equals 2? And then you have this too. You have this guy that goes on Meet the Press as well. I feel like I'm starting to notice a theme of people waking up and not being afraid to express the obvious. You have NBC, Chuck Todd, kind of like trying to expertly explain his side. But then you have this guy from New Hampshire, the GOP, Chris Sununu, which is a great name. Sununu. Bites back on saying why people are waking up. It's almost too beautiful. Because you need Jesus, that's why I preach. All right, here we go.
Each of the Democratic campaign committee heads that have done these ads supporting election denialists, I have put on this show, I have put them under this questioning. So I go back to you. Why are you supporting an election denialist? And do you think the inflation issue is enough to sort of rationalize support for somebody who thinks school buses of voters are going to show up in New Hampshire?
I think this is like one of the most beautiful setups to his answer he's about to give. Because this is what happens when you're in a bubble. This is what happens when you only surround yourself with one type of person, and then you just spit the same narrative, the same nonsense over and over again, to the point where you don't even have an original thought or original opinion. You're just saying things to say things because you're being told to say, or you feel like this is the most important issue of the day. We need to be talking about January 6th nonstop because January 6th is what everyone is thinking about all the time. Even when they're paying high prices at the pump, they're like, oh my God, did you remember when those Trump supporters stormed the Capitol? That's what they all think. They all think that everyone is focused and lasered in on, oh my God, January 6th. January 6th is the problem. Election denial. Where are the election? If we just tell these people they're election deniers over and over again, they will stop voting for them because they are election deniers. But this answer is beautiful. If anyone takes anything away from the Bible, it should be that faith in yourself, the Lord lives within us all. You're supposed to have faith in the Lord, and believing in the Lord is believing in yourself. If people don't care about racism, because people don't care about racism when you can't afford to feed your family, because it's not even real racism. First of all, I mean, let's not get it twisted. It's not real. Their racism in which they say, if you're like, oh, I notice that a lot of people of this color of skin like to do this activity. Do not say that. Don't say that. Not all these celebrities that buy followers will be totally exposed to having no follow. Oh, 100%. I've been tempted to buy followers. I'm not gonna lie, but I was like, nah, I would never do that. There's a Romanian saying that I think all about all the time. The Lord provides, and He doesn't spoon feed. And I'm barely a Christian. There you go. That's awesome. Yeah, God provides. Let's go. Gives you your essentials. He does give you more than you can handle, so you look to Him for peace and comfort and strength. But listen to this answer, because this answer is all of us.
Yeah. Yeah, let me tell you, you're in a bubble, man. I love you, Chuck, but you are in a bubble if you think anybody is talking about what happened in 2020 or talking about Mar-a-Lago and all that. I know the press loves to talk about it. People are talking about what is happening in their pocketbooks every single day.
Look, I get
when
that,
they have
Governor.
to buy
I get
groceries
it.
or fill
Should
up
they
gas
be?
or right now.
You
well,
think this
that's
should be
far outweighs.
prioritized
Yeah,
over
should
election
they be?
denialism? Okay.
How could they? Of course. Oh my gosh, Chuck, this is hitting people. They're having trouble paying their mortgage. They're having trouble making car payments because of bad policies out of Washington. Should they be? That is, look, the beauty of the American system.
That is like the most insane statement. Should they be? Should people be worried about buying food? Should they actually be worried? Because I feel like they should be more worried about January 6th. I want to know that.
Is every voter has the right and almost the responsibility to be selfish with their vote, to vote in terms of what is best for their
Totally
family,
agree.
the better choice for schools, better economic opportunity, and that's exactly what's going to happen in a week, which is why Hassan's going to get fired. A whole bunch of these Democrats are going to get fired because, frankly, folks that think that that the average voter is worried about 2020, the average voter, it's a serious issue, of course, but it is not what people are going to be voting on in the next week, and that kind of has baffled me through this whole campaign season, the fact that Democrats keep pushing this stuff and talking about things that aren't really what voters want to hear about, or aren't really connecting with the empathetic challenges that the average voter is seeing every day.
Are you serious? Because they have no other platform to run on. That's why they're saying it over and over again. I know they like, there's like this weird rhetoric constantly that goes around it. I just can't figure out what the right is standing for. It seems like they don't stand for anything. I mean, we showed The View do that. MSNBC constantly says that. Young Turks constantly say that. People on the left constantly say that. Like, I just don't. What do the Republicans even stand for? And it's like, you're not listening. Change your news source. But this is why the Democrats and people on the left constantly talk about January 6th, Trump, his documents, he's going to jail. Oh my God, we finally got him. He actually did pee on that Russian model. I swear to God, we have the tapes. Oh my God. Like, I don't care. Like, even if like Trump is like the most evil human being on earth right now, I can't afford to live out the American dream right now. The Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Everyone needs to know what those are. I don't live in Michigan, but I hope Whitmer gets fired. Dude, we can only pray. I stand with independence. The independents and burritos. Gotta love them burritos. Freedom burritos are the best kind. What do you have in a freedom burrito? And make sure you say it with the burrito as we pause for a music break. Freedom burrito. Freedom burrito. Freedom burrito. Freedom burrito. Freedom burrito. Freedom burrito. Don't you love YouTube safe music? Wrapped in a nice flour tortilla. Freedom burrito. How did they take two-word phrases like that and type shit out of it? Election denier evils. Because they'll use any kind of emotional language to get people to drive to go vote because they feel like the Democrats don't have a platform to stand on right now because the country is in shambles. I don't care about 2020. I need money because I'm dating a gold digger. You're dating a gold digger? And I've noticed that her love for me depends greatly on how quickly I am to get cash. Wimmer did a nice campaign ad where she said, I can't do anything about inflation, but there's a bunch of stuff that might help a couple thousand people. Governor Winter's the worst. Oh, Papa said tacos can go to hell. They can go to hell and die. Tacos can go to hell. They can go to hell and die. Sorry, I gotta like allow your comments. I wish I could just, why can't, man, you guys have been saying very aggressive things that I need to all allow in the chats. I love it. A couple of people are, Papa, you're the number one chatter for saying things that get censored. Control the language, control the culture. I know. Well, I wish I could just like allow for freedom of speech on my own like show, you know? If you want to control the speech on your own show, that's something we can have a conversation about, but this is my show. You should be able to say whatever the frick you want. Control the language, and with some guacamole. Who doesn't love guacamole? Speaking of election deniers, this is all like going around in circle perfectly. This person, Jojo Jerts, she is like such a far leftist, but she pretty much sums up everything about the left, you know? Trump essentially stole the presidency, but I'm also so sick of election deniers. I'm the same person. I think the same way. And there's no inconsistency in what I'm saying. This is essentially the same thing. Why is it okay to say Trump stole the election, but not okay? It's just like so. I just don't get it. It's so inflammatory that ibuprofen got nothing on me. I'm so inflamed. Dude, ibuprofen, make sure to eat something while you, when you take it. It's important. All right, let's check up on, okay. Young Turds had a segment on Marjorie Taylor Greene today, and I feel like I have to watch it because they're so cringe that I love them so much. Dude, Papa, you are so inflammatory. Everyone knows that. You're very aggressive.
Makes great headlines on Fox News, and we laugh about it. It's funny when we see busloads get dropped off, like in Martha's Vineyard. We're like, ha ha ha, you know. Or we see them dropped off in front of Kamala Harris's house, and we're like, oh, the border's ours. Should she tear down? Let me tell you, though, I so disagree with that.
That is majorly tainted Grinch. I'm sorry, Marjorie Taylor Greene, literally laughing at the migrants that were taken to a...
The left sounds like my ex-wife talking about Republicans and how evil I am. God. Will, you're a nice guy in my eyes. You would let Marjorie Taylor Greene give you a ride to the airport? Nothing says I'm a real friend like I'll give you a ride to the airport.
Place that they were not supposed to be taken and used as political pawns. That's her literally saying, when they go to Democrat places, we go ha ha ha, literally laughing at them. And then...
Why does the left love the word literally? I literally cannot stand Trump. He's literally the worst person to ever live. I'm literally losing my mind. I'm literally going to move to Canada if Trump gets elected again. I'm literally not kidding. I'm not feeling her. I can't just vote for a female. So yeah, I'm pretty much like, yeah.
She turned it and started criticizing Ron DeSantis' plan to do this and get this whole problem going when it starts to hit red states. Let's roll the clip.
I know Governor Abbott's trying to do something about it. I know Governor DeSantis
They're literally sent to literally sanctuary.
Wants to do something about it, but I disagree with sending them all over the country because we ended up with them getting off the bus in Chattanooga in Dade County. And that just happened recently. God bless the sheriff there. Yeah. Did you guys see him on Tucker Carlson? Yes.
Uh-oh, Tucker Carlson, ready for a trigger moment.
So right here in our state, little bitty Dade County, our sheriff is up there having to deal with illegal immigrants just deciding to get off and planning to live in Dade County.
Yeah, first of all, have you noticed in that clip how...
Say it.
She just frustrates me so much.
I love fake outrage so much. I don't even... listening to this clip, I don't even know what to say. I'm like speechless right now. Like I'm so mad. Look at my face. It's redder than Derek O'Shea's red beard. It's disgusting. I'm literally losing my mind.
You saw the whole clip. It was just, she's just disgusting how she doesn't like something when it affects her personally, but when it does affect others, she's totally fine with it and can laugh in the face of people who are struggling. But there might be another reason that she's opposed to this stunt, and in particular, why she's criticizing Ron DeSantis.
Because she's the white supremacist.
Now,
I'm considering writing a few novels. I think I know a thing or two about words. Yeah, right.
Journalist and author Robert Draper confirmed rumors that Greene could be Trump's running mate in 2024. The idea.
Oh my God! Could you imagine? Could you imagine her as his running mate? All right, that's a new. Oh, you guys got some more chats. I gotta allow. Okay, who should? Okay. Okay. Who should Trump's running mate be? I love the fact that they think that's going to be Marjorie Taylor Greene. No freaking way. She's way too... Trump needs, like, somebody opposite of him. He needs to stick to comedy and give up the news anchor job. He does comedy? Yeah, right. Why would a comedian... I'm literally so mad right now. Those gingers don't agree with the Sun very much, do they? No, we hate it. The Sun hates us, and it's the reason why polls are racist, because of the Sun. I'm redder than Derek O'Shea. He spends 30 minutes in the sun. That's so freaking rude. I hate you so much. Oh, wow. Tulsi coming in hot on the vote. I would have never, like, I wonder if she would be trying to be like Jimmy Dore. Oh, that's what's happening. Got it.
Well, if Jimmy Dore can do it, I can do it.
It has been discussed since February of the.
I like that they all call like people that are like liberal who like speak out for against the left. They call them all grifters. You know, of course.
I used to be a liberal, and now I'm just a grifter.
This year, and it's been discussed repeatedly. Now, to be fair, I mean, how many of these conversations has Trump had with other people? That's from the Daily Beast. And however, what Greene has.
The Daily Beast, literally the most reliable source. Literally the source that said Herschel Walker paid for abortions. And when was pressed on who the source was, it is an anonymous source that must not be named. Okay, let's create a whole narrative on this person. Oh, come on, Derek. You know you love my in your faith humanity. Yeah. Like, hey, the like button does need smashing. Thank you so much.
What Greene has above the others, Draper says, is that she's been unflaggingly loyal to Trump throughout. What is Trump concerned about most of all in a VP after the Mike Pence experience? Loyalty. He knows that he needs someone to fight for him to overturn a presidential election. He has every reason to.
Tulsi is a middle-aged mommy. A middle-aged mommy. Come on. A middle-aged.
Come on, man.
I used to be a liberal, but then the booze wore off. Yeah, okay, exactly. Yeah, you stop doing drugs, and all of a sudden you can think clearly.
Expect that Greene would be by his side and would be his proximate warrior. That's what Donald Trump wants, is somebody who's like him, who believes in things as crazy as him, and even can go further. And he could even probably at times have to rein in his own vice president, which he won't do. He would just, they would amplify each other like some kind of Voltron building themselves towards more and more evil.
How do these people take themselves seriously? A freaking Voltron adding, oh my God. Oh my God. Dude, freaking Voltron, man. Trump is going to need a running mate that won't outshine his ego. Oh, 100%. Also, this guy looks like he should be living off the grid. Those are some great teeth. Are you talking to me? Freaking evil Voltron, dude. Megazord. Oh my god. Freaking Ultra Mega Megazord. It's morphin' time.
It's mind-boggling. Jake, what do you think about this?
Yeah, so...
All right, here we go. Some honest take from Cenk.
So first of all, I love, politically speaking, Republican on Republican crime. So Marjorie Taylor Greene taking her madness and using it to beat Ron DeSantis over the head, interesting, again, politically. But this...
Okay, young tour guy, okay, cool.
There's a bigger story here, too.
It's like, I gotta put the whiteness bright, the teeth whitener filter on.
It's not just that, hey, that's weird to have her attacking DeSantis. They seem to be very much aligned, and they certainly agree on all the policies. I think she picked this out of a hat. I don't think she gives a damn about the busing and them stopping in that little town. I don't think she cares any of it. No, she's trying to prove to Donald Trump, I'm your lady. Because she knows those rumors are out there that she might be.
I'm your lady. You're my man. I'm your lady. Yeah. God. The serious melonhead. I know.
She knows that Trump cares about loyalty. So her bashing Ron DeSantis on his behalf, and maybe even Greg Abbott if he's thinking about it, and he's done the similar stuff.
Tulsi is perfect for Trump, the way he reach across the aisle and bring both parties. Yeah, Tulsi would be the obvious choice. It would be so perfect. Like, the left would be pissed. And they would be saying these things about Tulsi. They'd be like, oh, I knew she was always a secret conservative. I knew she was always a secret far right extremist. I knew she was always like that. They would be going nuts. They would freaking lose their minds about her. And it would expose like all the independents or people that think logically or people that like think outside the box and don't just like take these silly people's word of mouth. Like their brains would explode. Cords Willie, what's up? I'm back here. I feel like I can talk again. Okay. You can be honest on Rumble as much as you want. Cenk desperately wants to be the little spoon, but nobody wants to be covered in that much grease. That's why he results to being okay with bestiality.
Right?
Can you imagine how much food that guy consumes on a daily basis? I bet his toilet is working a lot over time. He better have a bidet. That's all I'm saying.
Trump's gonna love that. He's gonna absolutely love it. And the second thing that's super important is this is a warning to DeSantis. You're on the wrong side here, brother, because the Republican Party is run like a mob.
Tulsi destroyed Kamala during the debates. Oh, I know. That was like one of the most delicious parts of that debate. And I was probably the reason why, Kamala had to like bow out quick because she looked so dumb on that stage next to Tulsi. And that's why ultimately that's why she is literally one of the best VPs to ever run. I'm trying to change my mind.
And Trump is the head of the mob. He's Don Trump, right? And so if you're going to come against Don Trump, you're going to get all the goons. So they're saying to DeSantis, remember, you're a capo. But if you think you're going to rise above captain and become the Don, you're going to have to take out the big guy, and we're not going to let that happen. So I think this thing's already over. So if you hear people talk, it's just a matter of whether Trump runs. I don't know why Michael Cohen, Mary Trump, and others say that he's not going to.
He's constipated all the time. That's why he's like struggling to get his point across.
Run. I don't know why in the world they believe that. Maybe we'll have Michael Cohen on again and we'll talk about it, debate it, etc. Right? But to me, I don't know why he wouldn't run. And if he runs, it's no longer a question. I thought it was a question for a little while, but I think Trump's going to absolutely pull.
Tulsi needs to fix that gray strip in her hair already. No way, dude. No way. She looks like what's her face from X-Men.
Pulverize it.
Cords on Rumble says, I think Tulsi tears apart an argument similar to Donald Trump style. I think she's better than Donald Trump when it comes to argument. Donald Trump is good as a bulldozer. He's good at like, if you are having a serious debate, he'd be like, where do you even get that shirt from? It looks like crap. And you're like, this shirt. And then all of a sudden he just like goes off and you're like, oh crap, I just lost what I was thinking about. And then I'm just going to result to emotional anger all of a sudden. He's really good at that kind of crap. I feel like the gray streak in her hair. Yeah, rogue. That's it.
The competition, including DeSantis, to the point that he's going to.
Come on, she's totally Rogue from X-Men. And who didn't have a crush on Rogue when they were a kid reading comics? I mean, come on. This is white supremacy right here. This is toxic masculinity. Drawing hot women with like that is a problem. That's Tulsi right there to a T, though. 100%. Yeah, Rogue was a fox. Yeah.
Scare the bejesus out of them, and they might not even run.
What else does Trump have to live for at this point but running for office again? I mean, like, there's literally nothing. I mean, he's not going to be here for that much longer. There's no final horizon for him, and just the type of person.
Elon is going to have a video sharing platform connected to his new Twitter, so YouTube is going to be destroyed. I saw that Elon put out a tweet about bringing back Vine. I think he's trying to compete against like TikTok. But I don't know. Yep, Tulsi is better for sure. Yes.
And he is. So, you know, you're exactly right. Unless he's physically.
I know like Rumble is trying to be like, hey, use our platform for services. I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully, I mean, that would be the ultimate dream. It's hard to compete with Google though, because Google's search engine is just so great. And YouTube is just a better platform for searching for videos, and the way that they recommend videos, like Rumble is still struggling with recommendations and trying to figure out having things other than just political content on their stuff. I assume that hair is natural, and I think it's hot. Well, there you go. Yeah, me too. Trump, the guy has billions of dollars, a family that loves him, luxurious golf courses and golden towers in his name that can trust. Trust me, he has plenty to live for. Exactly. I mean, what a stupid comment.
Physically restrained from running. He definitely is again. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is a perfect example of how, you know, you have one of the two types of people in the right wing. Well, there's more, but generally speaking, you know, people who will become disillusioned only when fate knocks at their doors unannounced, or people like her who just really don't care. They're just in it for the power grabs and for the cause. But I mean, just, imagine a campaign with Donald Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene. That would be, history would never forget that, no matter how far along we got in time.
Yeah,
Ever.
I might be an eternal optimist here, but I think there's still a glimmer of hope that Trump does not run. I'm curious your guys' thoughts about the rumor that he might even be appointed Speaker of the House if the Republicans take back the Senate. I'm Speaker of the House if the Republicans take back the House, rather, sorry. Because you do not need to be an elected member.
This guy sounds like he has a parole officer
member of the House to be the Speaker. And that would be great for Donald Trump because he gets all the attention he wants and he gets to take all the corporate money, all the lobbyist money, and make all these deals and not also have to govern and not also have to.
That's true. He doesn't know that he's a white supremacist because of his accent.
To run the country. I think that job would be one he'd be happy living with, or just, you know, running a bunch of golf tournaments for the Saudis or whatever he can do to put some more money in his pocket. But I also am an optimist a little bit still on the fact that if he does run, which is most likely.
Pussy is speaking. Oh, yeah, sorry.
I think Ron DeSantis does have a good shot at taking him down just because DeSantis offers them practically every policy position that Donald Trump offers them. The polarizing positions, the race.
Dear God, people watch that show? I'm so bored watching that. Like, that guy's voice is freaking boring as crap, and it just sounds like he's like trying to put me to sleep right now. I don't. Does anybody know anybody seriously that watches that show that isn't just like a far leftist and is like, I'm serious. This is a serious thing to talk about. I'm from Michigan. I have no accent, therefore it's impossible for me to be racist. I don't hate people. Just freaking hate you. Everyone knows that. All right, hold on. The douche probably watched Black Panther too. Is anybody interested in watching that movie? Uh, is anybody interested in watching Black Panther 2? I'm not at all. Like, every time I see it, you're sort of my hero, sort of. Yes. Speaking of insane, though, here's a clip of Marjorie Taylor Greene this weekend talking about why Democrats are just doing so bad.
And still, there's inflation. There's a fear of looming recession. Poll after poll show that voters trust, they say they trust Republicans more than Democrats when it comes to the economy. What's the administration's response to that persistent view among the electorate?
So first, we have always said we understand what the American public is dealing with. We understand that there are high costs, and we understand that they're feeling very squeezed right now. The president always says this, and you hear him say this all the time, that he wants to make sure that we give Americans a little bit more breathing room, which is what his dad used to say when he grew up in Scranton and dealing with these kitchen table issues. So when the
kitchen table conversations is the word she was.
President walked into this administration, the economy was in ruins. It was in absolute ruins.
And why was it in ruins? Why? Was it because of people on the right and their policies? Or was it something else? I just can't remember what it was, but we need to forgive each other for that thing. I don't want breathing room. I want to be left alone. Oh no, that is a white supremacy cat call if I've ever heard of it. You just want to be left alone? Why? So you go question the government in your home by yourself? That sounds about right coming from you. Okay, I'm just looking up, see if there's any like new clips. The website I follow for. Okay. The one website I follow that cuts up clips, like found the clip of Donald Trump, Biden kissing that one kid that we saw. Just hilarious. I don't want to be left alone, I want to be left alone so I can plot my plans to steal your Zima in peace, dude. You'll never have my Zima, and it will never have my peace. All right, this is the last video I want to watch. It's a Piers Morgan clip about a victim culture, and I think it might be important. I want to engage more in culture and stuff like that. I feel more competent to talk about culture. But here's Piers Morgan talking about our obsession with victimhood. It's the title of this video is "It's a Need to Be a Victim." Trevor Noah claims UK racist towards Rishi. Of course it is. We've made victimhood one of the greatest currencies in our culture.
It hasn't been the best of weeks for late-night American talk show hosts. But
because no
Trevor
one watches
Noah
them.
very much delivered a hold my beer moment to James Corden last night. Just take a look at this.
Papa says, I've never understood victim culture. Who the hell wants to be a victim? Being a victim sucks. True victims don't want to be victims. And true victims don't rarely speak up. But that's why it's important to speak up. But also, we've made it to the point where people are putting their trauma on TikToks for all to see. And that's not... People that experience real trauma are reluctant to talk about their trauma. They're reluctant to express it, and they especially are not gonna go on an app that shoots that video off to millions upon millions of people, unless they're trying to get attention. We've created this thing of I'm a victim, therefore I deserve attention. That's like with Joe Biden inviting that one person to the White House not too long ago who decided to be a part of the victimhood, and all of a sudden is celebrated and has commercials, is interviewing the freaking president of the United States and all that stuff. Find it, fix it. Being offended doesn't make you right. 100%. Well, people are consumed with being offended and being right. Cords Willie says, how long do we have to see the breathing room and kitchen table commercial over and over again? Forever.
Watching the story of Rishi Sunak
becoming England's first prime minister of color, of Indian descent, of all of these things, and then seeing the backlash is one of the more telling, it's just one of the more telling things about how people view the role that they or their people have played in history. And what I mean by that is this. You hear a lot of the people saying, oh, they're taking over. You know, now the Indians are going to take over Great Britain, and what's next, and what? And I always find myself going, so what?
What? What's the backlash exactly? Who's seen the backlash? There seems to be an entirely imaginary thing. It's like this is just happening in Trevor Noah's head. I don't know if I missed something, but I think not. Now, joining us from Alabama to discuss Noah's bizarre rant is American political commentator C.J. Pearson.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you with us. What did you make of this, C.J.? I mean, it just strikes me as something from a different planet.
Yeah, but it's also a broken record. Unfortunately, we have to deal with that here in America every single day, of people like Trevor Noah looking to blame racism on every single thing in the world. You know, they call our country fundamentally racist, and I guess now you guys are getting the same treatment. But notice in that segment, he didn't point out the people that are actually attacking the new prime minister because they're not from the Conservative Party. So I wonder who those people must be.
No, but apparently this all came from one caller calling into a popular radio show here. I mean, there has been... Rishi Sunak's coronation as our Prime Minister has been welcomed by everybody.
Including by President Biden, who called him Rashad Sunak.
Of course, Willie says, why would I tell you about my trauma and relive it again? You tell it, you know, do it in with a psychologist, psychiatrist, or, you know, a competent counselor. But other than that, you don't just go... Unless you're like doing it out of empowerment because it's changed your life, you know, and like to help other people who have experienced the same trauma to speak up and stuff like that. That's different. But the way people are doing it now isn't a part of empowerment or trying to help other people. It's like, look at me, this happened to me. And then there are so many stories that turn out to be completely false because we've created this hero victim mentality of like, if you are a victim, therefore you're a hero. No, I like this kid. He's a funny kid. I think he's the kid that like he's like drinks coffee and he's like or something like that. Your mom still won't let you have one in her basement? No, my mom will not let me. Mom, let me get a table.
Or something.
I hate her.
But yeah, anyway, apart from that, everyone seems to have welcomed it warmly.
Why do you think? Why do you think he's so keen to paint the UK as having a problem with us having a prime minister with Indian parents?
Because he doesn't possess the depth to talk about real issues. He doesn't possess the depth to talk about global inflation, and doesn't possess the depth to talk about UK politics or anything like that. But what he can do is make everyone out to be some racist boogeyman. This is exactly what the left does every single day. Where there isn't an issue or with race at all, they make it to be as if it's something that you should consume yourself with every single day. People are championing the new prime minister of UK, and for good reason. It's a huge milestone. But let's also point out the historical fact that every single modern PM that we've had that's been a female has been from the Conservative Party. And now the first Indian English man who is a British PM from the Conservative Party. Where's Labour at on that? I don't see him at all.
Well, one of the other interesting things about this, CJ, is the fact that all this has this weird American lens put over it. I mean, you know, every country has its own historical problems. Every country has its own issues. But this is like watching well, first of all, Trevor Noah, who grew up in South Africa, so maybe he sort of sees some of this through the lens of apartheid. But he then transfers that onto America, and then from that, transfers that onto the UK. And it's
Mr. Smithers is cooler than Trevor Noah.
It just doesn't work. And the most remarkable thing about our Prime Minister is the fact that race and religion weren't an issue at any stage in the campaign for anyone. Nobody said he should get the job because of his race or his religion. They said he should get the job because they thought he was the best person for the job.
Yeah. And what's most exhausting about the narrative that you're
Was
hearing from
Trevor?
Trevor,
I don't
and this has plagued America for far too long, is this perpetual need to be a victim and to see victimhood in every single story. This is a moment of triumph. This is a moment of something that you would think Trevor Noah would be heralding, but instead he's trying to point out racism simply where it isn't. And you have to wonder, why is there that incessant need for them to have racism in a society? Why is there this incessant need for them to have someone be a victim? It just goes to show that the only thing they know how to...
There's the ultimate question. Why the obsession? Because then it creates an entire narrative, again, just like with the emergency orders and just like with emergency powers, people are freaking out. And they look to the government for answers rather than looking at themselves. We gotta fix the system, man. It's a systematic racism.
How to do is divide and conquer.
And it's all about more power for the government. And if it's more power for them, they will happily push whatever freaking rhetoric they need to push of the day.
They seek to do that.
I'm obsessed with race because I'm betting on horse races. I love me some races. F1. Did you see that Our Lady in LA that smashed the windows with a pickaxe? Did you see that lady, that Our Lady in LA that smashed the windows with the pick? No. Wait, what?
Through race, religion.
I feel like I had to read that a couple times because I was like, I don't know what you mean. I saw that. What? What is this? Is it the lady that's like, lady pickaxe? I'm gonna look this up. Oops. Dude, look up decoy voice. What is decoy voice? Sorry, I'm looking at it. Oh, here. Wait, in this, not in the subway. Oh, you mean he's like a live streamer? There's not like a video? I think he's in his early 30s. I don't trust people in their 30s. They're all white supremacists. All right. Pickaxe. What is the video about? Look up YouTube. Lady smashes windows. The pickaxe and Windows 2. All right. Lady smash it. Smashing pickaxe. Okay. Oh, just close my freaking chat down. All right. Oh, yeah, I did see this lady. That was like 5 days ago or whatever. Pasadena home. Pickaxe wielding. Dude, can you imagine like living this?
For a family in Pasadena, a woman with a pickaxe showed up at their home and breaking their windows. And Jaysha Patel has more on this Eyewitness News exclusive.
Imagine you just moved into a new neighborhood. Your baby is sleeping, and a woman wielding a pickaxe breaks your windows. That's the reality for one Pasadena family who's now scared to live in their new neighborhood. That's the scream of a terrified grandmother after hearing a window shattering Monday evening and coming face to face.
Again, this person should be institutionalized. But instead, we just let him roam. You know what I mean? She is clearly not okay. Totally unprovoked, walking around with a pickaxe and smashing windows when there's babies inside. No big deal.
With a pickaxe wielding woman in broad daylight. Armand Chukadarian, who lives at the Pasadena home, says his mother was looking over his 6-week-old daughter at the time, whose bassinet is by the window.
I get the notification from our doorbell, and it's like a 2-second clip of someone just smashing our door.
Pasadena police say the attacker is 65
if only family had a means of defending their homes against maniacs with armed pickaxes. I can't think of anything.
Year-old Beverly Baker. When police arrived, Baker was gone. Neighbors helped police find her, and they were able to take her into custody after a 30-minute standoff.
My mother-in-law first instinct was to grab the baby. 2 seconds later, all you see is huge shards of glass in the bassinet where she would be. It was a miracle that she reacted fast enough, or else my daughter would be dead.
Chukadarian says
Poor
Baker
guy, man.
came back to his home 3 times, breaking a total of 8 windows. Now their
3
home is
times?
boarded up and they're staying with family in another location. Pasadena police say Baker owns property in the immediate area of the victim's home.
It doesn't appear that there was any relationship between the suspect, Mrs. Baker, and the victims of the vandalism. It appears as if that she was suffering from some type of mental health crisis.
That
Yeah,
is just
no
speculation
shizzle.
and
No shizzle.
has not been confirmed yet. Pasadena police say the estimated amount of damages to Chukadarian's home is $20,000.
God. You know, it's like we have like a huge problem in this country, and we've created our biggest mental health institutions now are jail cells, which is insane. Like, the fact that we rely on like people that work in jail cells to effectively treat these people is so dumb. But that's kind of the world we created, isn't it? I mean, we have a huge problem in our country with just mental health issues. And like that woman really needs a lot of help. A lot. And just putting her in jail is not going to help her. She needs to be in an institution. Because that's nuts. I bet those are double pane windows, probably. There's nothing they can do. They might as well just accept the maniacs with pickaxes are going to attack their own. That seems like the way of California right now. Look, I have family members that live in California, and my brother-in-law had to call the police on somebody that was doing almost exactly the same thing. And it was this person that he says that he was probably on drugs outside of his home, banging on the windows, trying to get in, doing everything he could to get in. And this guy, as my brother-in-law, is very liberal, so he didn't have a gun before. Now he does. But before, he was calling the cops, and this is in LA. Called the cops. They gave him like a 45-minute window of when they would get there. And he's like, the guy is going to break in and kill me. And so what he did was just stand there in front of the door, was holding a chef's knife to stop the intruder. And that was his only way. And then the cops took exactly that much time. They took forever. And it's amazing. The same people that will continue to vote for Biden, people like that. It just makes no sense. There's nothing they could do. They might as well just. Okay, sorry. I have a feeling I was part of the globalist idea to let crazy. It makes you wonder, like, the whole like institutions that we no longer have, and we just like put people in hospitals or jail cells and put them on the street, and it's just like this disgusting circle of people never being helped. That actually need help. And the way they get help is they use drugs in order to, stop the voices, stop their bipolar, their aggression, their depression, whatever. And it's just like a vicious cycle. And it's not very humanistic. It doesn't help anyone. You're making things worse, obviously. And so it's obvious at this point that they're doing it on purpose, because no idiot would look at the situation and go, you know what we're doing? We just got to keep doing what we do. It just doesn't make any sense. Someone suffers from depression and we give them antidepressant medicine that has a side effect of suicide. Does anyone else find that odd? There's side effects to all medication, unfortunately, especially depending on your brain chemistry and your temperament and how you just are built. So it's so important to find that out. But people do jump on those too quickly, and they hand them out like candy. Cords Willie, I lived in California for 6 years, and I left screaming. It was so crazy. There are people, and politics were too much. I could hear shots every night, 2 different cities. Dude, I bet. And congrats on you for leaving and like not voting the same. I don't know if you voted differently, but like congrats on you for leaving, getting out instead of just dealing with it, you know? Because sometimes like situations like that, you can vote red till you die, but and nothing's going to change. I feel safer in a small town in Texas. I can literally leave my door open and no one freaking bothers me. That's awesome. That's so cool. I don't have that luxury. We don't have mental health issues. We don't solve mental health issues. We just throw pills at it and hope it fixes things. Yes. And always keep in mind, there are like differences. There's like depression, anxiety. Go talk to someone. They can help reframe thoughts and stuff in your mind for you to stop thinking that way. Because sometimes it helps to have someone to confess things to and talk things through to be able to help. There's like a weird side of the internet of like, you don't need to see anyone. They just want you to stick around. No. There are people in the profession that, if you come in for depression, their goal is to get you out and help you rethink your life. The people that want you in there forever, keep an eye on those people. Those people are not your friend. But like we do just throw pills. But that's part of our society anyways. And like people are like, oh, my knee hurts, I'm going to go get knee surgery. Oh, my back hurts, I'm going to go get back surgery. Oh, my back hurts, I'm going to get a back injection. It's part of our culture. Our culture is obsessed with doing whatever the easiest way possible to find relief rather than doing the hard work. No one wants to do that. No one wants to, if you have mental health issues, go see a counselor and then talk through some of the pain and depression and anxiety and help reframe things and help give new ideas and new ways and new behaviors and fix yourself. People just want to go see a psychiatrist. I don't care. Just give me something that will make me feel better. I'll take that. Or I'll start drinking more. It makes me feel better. And it'll help me get by. Like people self-medicate. People, it's part of our culture, which is unfortunate. I showed up at Nancy's house real quick though. Of course I did. Because they care more about themselves than you. Fixing mental health issues takes years, and that's only for people who are willing to get help. Yes. It's just like addiction. At the end of the day, if you don't want help, if you don't want to find recovery, if you don't want to get better, it's on you. Because ultimately, you're in charge of your life. Where was the Secret Service? She's in third in line for the Oval Office. I don't understand that. Is it because she wasn't like at home that the Secret Service wasn't there, or like security wasn't there? I don't understand. There's so many questions about that story with Nancy Pelosi. Papa, I don't know if you missed it. We were playing that video you sent me about that whole situation. They were on a coffee break. Okay, exactly. They were fixing they were fixing the secret cameras. Cori Bush openly brags about $50K a year security because of death threats. I remember that. But Pelosi, one of the most hated women in the country, has no security detail whatsoever that doesn't pass the smell test. I don't understand that. Some people are born to be depressed. Yeah. And some of that's the brain chemistry, and some people do need a little extra help. Antidepressants have been seen to help a lot of people, but then there are too many people that just jump on it. So you have to find, everything is balance in life. Everyone just like wants to jump on extremes. People just like want to jump on the extremes of like, you don't need it, it's all bullshit, or you need all of it. Like you have to find balance in everything in life. But people are almost more comfortable in extremes. And that's the unfortunate thing about our culture too. I technically escaped California with the balloon. Amazing. Do they do like they used to do back in the day? Go to the bar and get drunk and talk to a bartender. Yeah, right. Yeah. I think that expands to a deeper feeling of wanting to be a part of community. And a lot of us need community instead of just being alone all the time. It's important to have community. And I think that's why you're here. I'm answering your texts, your chats, and I'm acknowledging your existence. You're acknowledging my existence, and we're communicating back and forth. We're having community. And that's why I think like the internet's so great. But there's also like a bad part of the internet. But yeah, going to the bar and getting drunk, that's great for a while, but sometimes you'll turn into an alcoholic. I used to take the train across the country, but the train was called the California Zephyr, ergo escape balloon. Okay, see what you did. I spent a few trips on the train from SLC to Grand Junction to Denver, got wasted in the lounge car. That sounds amazing. Cords Willie on Rumble says, I'm 60 years old, just 6 years in California, and I've always been conservative. Amazing. Hey, I love that. I love that you watch my show, man. Getting a 6-year-old means I have some wisdom or something. I'm not just like a cringe YouTuber. Thanks for playing the clip, dude. Oh yeah, of course. Well, I wanted to play. I like that guy's breakdowns on things, and plus I wanted some more information because everything I'm reading on the whole Paul Pelosi thing, it just seems like people are obsessed with their side winning the debate or their side looking worse, as opposed to having a real conversation about what we should be doing with these people. You know, back in the day, I used to get extremely drunk and talk to random strangers at the bar about my problems, and you know that can help. You know, because it's not necessarily you're talking to like people at the bar. You are opening up instead of bottling up these emotions yourself. You are opening up and you're expressing your emotions to another individual, and the power that's within that is that it's kind of like in the Bible, it says confess your sins to one another. It's like the power when you express something to another individual, particularly if they're like somebody outside of your circle, is you can't put a price on that kind of. It helps you in amazing ways, and it helps you rethink problems that instead that you just let circulate in your brain over and over again by just saying, you know what, I've been thinking about this. And that's kind of why I want people to call into my show, is like I want people to feel like they have a voice, but also like that they have their stuff that is mulling over in their head over and over again, that they feel like they can like have someone to talk to. And again, that's my number, but like they can have someone to talk to and they can have their opinion heard, and they're not so lonely and alone, because that's like the one thing that is like hurting our culture so much is loneliness. I'm acknowledging nothing, Derek. I'm a figment of your imagination. I knew you were fake. Fake news. But that lady with the pickaxe, that was just nutty. All right, I'm going to go. This is a shorter stream because it's Halloween night, and I'm going to go have a good time. And I hope you guys have a good time. And I appreciate every single one of you guys for joining me. I know that a lot of you guys have kids, so you're trick-or-treating and stuff like that. But I appreciate you hanging out with me. It means so much to me. Look out for my stream. Tomorrow, we're going live again. Tomorrow, we'll have some clips, and I'll have like a longer show. I just got off work, and I was exhausted. Like, I just didn't have as much time to put this show together. But I hope you guys enjoyed it and have a good time. Any other thoughts before I leave? Someone leave us on a good thought of the day. It's amazing how a 2-hour stream is considered a short stream. You're awesome. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate you saying that. Because sometimes when I get off of these 3-hour streams, I'm like, God, I just talked for 3 hours. What is going on? But, you know, feel free to share this on all social media platforms. Cut it up. Create your own channel and make fun of me as much as you want. Like, I don't care. But I appreciate you guys. You guys are all the best. Cords, thank you so much for joining me. Papa, as always, thank you so much, even though I hate you with all my heart and soul and mind. Mansa West, I'm so excited that you're a part of this the chat now. And Find It, Fix It, always appreciate you being here, man. Junior, I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for stopping by. Find It, Wilson, I always appreciate you. And so much more. You did great, bro. Hey, thanks so much. Awesome for a ginger. I know. I'm trying to keep the bar low. You know what I mean? Keep the bar low, and then I'll go past your expectations. It's like, wow, this ginger is this guy's got it going on. But go scare someone. Go steal a 5-year-old's candy tonight. Remember they used to do that? I remember. Okay, just story time. I remember as a kid going trick-or-treating and seeing in the 80s and 90s movies of people trick-or-treating, and there would be bullies that would steal your candy, and I remember just like fearing for them so much, and just like looking around the corner like, where's the bully that's going to steal my candy? Did anybody else fear for bullies stealing your candy, or is it just me? I feel like every 90s Halloween film had some bully just like, give me your candy, freaking weirdo. You don't even have a mom that loves you. Nobody keeps the bar quite as low as you, Derek. Hats off to you. Thanks so much. That really hurts. I'll check my Bazooka Joe bubblegum for erythroplays. Yeah, that too. Now it's fentanyl though. All right, everyone. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a freaking fantastic day. You are the best. Let's end with this song. Surprise me.
Welcome to the Derek Show. I hope you guys had a fantastic night, and I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for joining the show, and have a great time. Tell your friends and family with the Derek Show. You guys are the best. Okay.
All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Love you guys. Bye.
Me down, keep me at a simple place. Stick your feet into the ground. Wash the tears right off my face. Like an anchor, stopping the flow of the motion. Like a shooting star, filling my heart with emotion.